Japanese practice might sound simple, but it's the foundation of everything else is squatting. Yes, squatting. Now I know the word alone might make you cringe a little if your knees aren't what they used to be. But hear me out, because this one movement can completely transform the way your body feels after 60. In Japan, it's not unusual to see men and women in their 70s, even their 80s, dropping into a squat while working in the garden, preparing food, or just chatting with friends. It's not a gym exercise for them. It's simply a way of living. Unlike here in America, where chairs, couches, and high-seated furniture keep us perched above the ground, the Japanese habit of staying close to the earth has kept their leg strength intact far longer. They haven't lost what we've surrendered to comfort, the ability to move naturally. When you squat, you're engaging every major muscle in your legs. Your thighs, your hamstrings, your calves, even your glutes get activated. Your core fires up too, keeping you stable. It's one of the most complete movements you can do without a single piece of equipment. And most importantly, it keeps you strong enough to sit and stand on your own, which is the very definition of independence in old age. Think about it. How many people do you know who struggle to get up out of a chair? Or worse, how many seniors lose their independence because standing up becomes too much of a burden? In America, that's far too common. But in Japan, the elders who squat every day rarely face that problem. Now, I'm not saying you need to sink into a deep, flat-footed squat like a young athlete. Even a small version counts. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart, lower yourself as if you're sitting into a chair that isn't there, and rise back up. That's it. If you can only go halfway down, that's fine. The magic happens with repetition. Do it daily. Start with 5 or 10 reps, and you'll feel it. Your legs will slowly regain power, climbing stairs won't make you groan, and standing up will feel smooth again. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it consistently. That's what the Japanese know that we often forget. Progress is built little by little, not in one big leap, and squatting is just the beginning. Another habit that keeps Japanese elders surprisingly mobile is floor sitting and rising. It might sound small, but it's huge for maintaining strength, balance, and longevity. Picture this in America. Most of us spend nearly our entire lives sitting on couches, dining chairs, or car seats. We hardly ever get down to the ground, and as a result, we lose the ability to get back up without help. In Japan, it's the opposite. Meals are often served on low tables. People relax on tatami mats. Children and grandparents alike gather on the floor. Every single time they do this, they're giving their body a mini workout. Getting down requires flexibility in your hips and knees, and standing up again demands strength from your core and legs. Do this day after day, year after year, and the body never forgets. This habit is so powerful that doctors actually use it as a predictor of life expectancy. In one famous study, people over 60 were asked to sit down on the floor and then stand up without using their hands. Those who could do it easily lived longer. Those who struggled had higher death rates. Isn't that incredible? Something as simple as being able to rise from the floor can forecast your health better than some blood tests. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds impossible for me. But it doesn't have to be. You don't need to jump into a perfect cross-legged sit on the floor right away. Start small. Place a yoga mat or soft rug on the ground and simply practice lowering yourself to sit, even if you need to use your hands for balance. Then practice rising back up. Do this a few times every day. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The Japanese elders aren't special in their DNA. They just kept practicing what we in the West stopped doing decades ago. And because they never stopped, their bodies adapted to stay strong. The truth is, we Americans have been trained into weakness by convenience. We've made life so easy that our bodies forgot how to do the hard things that keep us alive. But you can retrain yourself, starting today, one small practice at a time. Now let's shift to something that seems obvious but is often overlooked: walking. Walking is one of the most underrated movements in the world, and yet it is the cornerstone of Japanese longevity. In Tokyo, Osaka, and even rural villages, elders walk everywhere. They walk to markets, shrines, parks, and neighbors' houses. They walk to get groceries, to catch the train, to simply get fresh air. Walking isn't exercise for them, it's just life. But here's the key. Because it's built into their lifestyle, they do it every single day, sometimes for miles without even realizing it. Compare that to the American lifestyle. Here, we drive everywhere. Even a half-mile trip to the store becomes a car ride. And when walking is stripped from daily life, health begins to crumble. Blood pressure rises, muscles weaken, cognitive decline speeds up. The Japanese are proof that walking is medicine. Every step pumps oxygen into your brain, lowers stress hormones, strengthens your heart, and keeps your metabolism humming. If you're over 60 and sitting most of the day, walking may be the single most powerful change you can make right now. You don't need to hit 10,000 steps tomorrow. Start with 5 minutes around the block. If you're able, make it 10. Build slowly. The key is to make it a ritual, just like brushing your teeth. A walk after breakfast, a stroll before dinner, or even laps inside your home if the weather is bad. It all adds up. Every step is an investment into your future self. And here's something important. Walking isn't just physical, it also fights loneliness, depression, and anxiety. Japanese elders walk in groups, with friends, with family. It's not exercise, it's connection. For American seniors, who often suffer from isolation, this is just as valuable as the movement itself. Walk, breathe, look around, greet your neighbors. It's not just about keeping your legs strong, it's about keeping your spirit alive. But movement isn't just about strength and endurance. It's also about balance, and this is where the Japanese really shine. In America, one of the biggest fears for seniors is falling. One bad fall can break a hip and steal years of independence. But Japanese elders have something many Americans don't: balance training built into their everyday lives. One simple example: standing on one leg while brushing their teeth. That's it. Nothing fancy, no gym membership needed. Just standing tall, lifting one foot, and holding steady. This simple act trains the body to stabilize, strengthens the ankle and leg muscles, and sharpens the nervous system's reaction time. It's like insurance against a fall. The Japanese don't think of it as training. They just make little challenges part of their day. And it pays off. Their fall rates are lower, their recovery is faster, and their confidence is higher. Try it right now. Stand up, lift one foot, and hold. Can you do it for 10 seconds? Switch to the other side. You'll feel your muscles firing to keep you upright. Do this daily, and your stability will improve. Add little variations. Try closing your eyes or turning your head side to side while balancing. Each variation teaches your body to adapt, making you more resilient. The more resilient you are, the less likely a stumble becomes a tragedy. And that means more freedom, more independence, more years living life on your terms. Finally, let's talk about stretching, because this might be the most universal movement across all Japanese elders. Every morning in Japan, you'll find groups of people in parks or even on television following along to Radio Teiso, a gentle stretching and movement routine that's been broadcast for nearly a century. It's not extreme. It doesn't leave you sweating. But it wakes up the body. It moves the spine, the shoulders, the hips. It opens the lungs. It reminds the body that today is a day for movement, not stiffness. Americans often fall into two traps: doing nothing at all or doing too much at once in bursts of gym enthusiasm. The Japanese have it right. Simple, consistent stretching keeps the body limber and ready. Imagine starting every morning by raising your arms overhead, reaching for the sky, bending side to side, twisting gently, and loosening your shoulders. It takes 5 minutes, but it can change your whole day. Stiffness melts away, your joints feel lighter, and you're less likely to get hurt when you move later. It's a habit worth borrowing. And that's really the secret here. Japanese elders don't wait for old age to hit them. They keep moving in ways that support their independence. Squats, floor sitting, walking, balancing, stretching. These are the small daily rituals that add up to decades of vitality. Americans may not have grown up with these traditions, but that doesn't mean we can't adopt them now. The body is incredibly forgiving. Even if you've been sedentary for years, the moment you start, your body begins to respond. Muscles strengthen, circulation improves, joints lubricate. You don't need to do everything at once. Just pick one of these movements today. Add another next week. Slowly, steadily, you'll feel a difference. And when you do, you'll understand why Japanese elders seem to defy aging. It's not magic, it's movement. If Chapter 1 was all about strength and energy, Chapter 2 takes us deeper into the movements that create longevity and mobility. These are the habits that don't just help you feel good for a day or two, they keep you thriving for decades. And the Japanese elders prove it every single day. In America, it's common to assume that once you're in your 60s or 70s, stiffness, pain, and weakness are inevitable. You hear people say, "Well, that's just aging." But in Japan, many elders laugh at that idea because they move with a freedom that would make most 60-year-olds in the US jealous. The difference: daily rituals that prioritize mobility above all else. And mobility is the key. If you can move well, you can live well. If you lose mobility, you lose independence, and that's the beginning of decline. The Japanese know this, which is why their entire culture is infused with simple ways to keep moving every single day. Let's start with one of the simplest, but most powerful practices: stretching routines that go beyond flexibility and directly target joint health. The Japanese morning exercise routine, radio teiso, isn't about becoming a gymnast, it's about keeping the joints alive. Think about how your body feels when you wake up. Stiff shoulders, a tight lower back, hips that feel locked. Most Americans just push through that stiffness or grab a cup of coffee and sit longer. But Japanese elders move through it. They roll their shoulders, bend side to side, stretch their arms, twist gently, and lift their knees. These aren't complicated yoga poses or painful stretches. They're basic, flowing movements anyone can do. And here's why it matters: joints are like hinges. If you don't move them, they rust. If you move them daily, they stay oiled and smooth. That's why Japanese elders can reach overhead to grab something or bend down to pick up a grandchild without wincing. If you start your morning with even 5 minutes of light stretching, you're telling your body, today we move, today we stay alive. It's not about touching your toes. It's about refusing to let stiffness define your day. Another critical piece of longevity in Japan comes from what I like to call micro-movements. In America, we think of exercise as something that happens in a gym, in a class, or during a set workout session. You drive there, change clothes, sweat it out, then go home. But in Japan, movement is sprinkled throughout the day. It's woven into life. They squat while gardening, stretch while watching TV, take stairs instead of elevators, walk to markets instead of driving. These micro-movements are like small deposits in a savings account. You don't notice the benefit right away, but years later, you realize you've built a fortune of strength and mobility. In America, we sit for hours, sometimes the entire day, then try to undo it all with one intense gym session. That doesn't work. The Japanese secret is consistency and frequency. Small movements many times a day. You can adopt this right now. Instead of sitting in one position for an hour, stand up and do 5 shoulder rolls. While brushing your teeth, balance on one leg. Waiting for the microwave, do a few calf raises. These little habits add up. By the time you hit your 70s, they may be the reason you're still walking confidently while others are shuffling. Now let's talk about posture, because this is a silent killer in America. Look around, and you'll see it everywhere: slouched shoulders, curved backs, forward heads. Years of sitting at desks, looking down at phones, or driving long commutes wreck our posture. Poor posture doesn't just look bad. It compresses the lungs, restricts breathing, stresses the spine, and accelerates aging. Japanese elders, on the other hand, put great emphasis on upright posture. Even in old age, you'll see many walking tall, shoulders back, chest open. This is not an accident. It comes from years of mindful movement. Radio taiso, martial arts, tea ceremonies, and even the way they bow to each other reinforce alignment. When you stand tall, you breathe better, your circulation improves, your organs have space, and your confidence rises. And the best part, you can fix your posture at any age. Right now, wherever you are, pull your shoulders back, lift your chest, and imagine a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. That small adjustment could take 10 years off how you look and how you feel. And if you practice it daily, your spine will thank you for decades. Another movement Japanese elders practice that Americans desperately need is hip mobility. Hips are the body's power center. They help you walk, bend, climb, and even maintain balance. But in America, years of sitting in chairs and cars tighten the hips until they barely move. That's why so many seniors shuffle their feet instead of walking with a strong stride. In Japan, floor sitting forces the hips to open daily. Rising from the floor builds hip strength. Many traditional exercises also include wide stances and gentle hip rotations. These small acts keep the hips mobile, and that mobility prevents back pain, falls, and stiffness. If you want to copy one Japanese habit today, start with gentle hip circles. Stand with your hands on your hips and slowly rotate them in a circle. Then reverse. Do this a few times every morning. It looks simple, almost silly, but it's incredibly powerful. Add in a few lunges or seated hip stretches, and you'll notice walking feels lighter, climbing stairs feels smoother, and your back pain begins to fade. Don't underestimate the hips. In Japanese elders, healthy hips equal healthy lives. One of the most fascinating differences between Japanese and American seniors is how they approach balance in motion. Americans often rely heavily on canes or walkers once balance begins to fade. Japanese elders, however, train balance every single day without equipment. Walking on uneven garden paths, stepping onto raised door frames, climbing traditional staircases, they challenge their balance naturally. And one of their favorite ways to maintain balance is through Tai Chi-like movements. Slow, controlled shifts of weight from one foot to the other. Gentle turns, arm sweeps, and deliberate steps. These movements may look graceful, but they're actually hard work for the nervous system. They strengthen stabilizer muscles, improve coordination, and sharpen the brain's ability to control the body. In America, fall prevention programs are often an afterthought, introduced only after someone has already fallen. In Japan, balance training is proactive, a part of everyday life. If you're over 60, this is a habit worth stealing immediately. Try shifting your weight from one foot to the other while raising your arms slowly. Move like you're flowing through water. Focus on control, not speed. With practice, you'll notice your confidence grows, and that fear of falling starts to fade. Breathing is another overlooked form of movement, but in Japan, elders treat it as essential. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing is built into many traditional practices like meditation, tea ceremony, and martial arts. Why does this matter? Because as we age, our lung capacity naturally declines, shallow breathing becomes the default, and less oxygen reaches the muscles and brain. This accelerates fatigue, weakness, and cognitive decline. Japanese elders counter this with mindful breathing, slow inhales that expand the belly, full exhales that release tension. This type of breathing isn't just relaxing, it's healing. It lowers blood pressure, boosts circulation, and keeps the mind calm. You can practice it right now. Place a hand on your stomach, inhale deeply through your nose, feel your belly rise, then exhale slowly through your mouth. Do this for 5 breaths and notice how your body softens. For seniors in America, where stress levels and cardiovascular disease are sky high, this one practice could be life-changing. Movement isn't always about muscles. It's also about how you breathe. So what ties all of this together? It's the philosophy that small, daily movement is better than occasional intensity. Japanese elders don't wait for a doctor to tell them to start exercising. They don't push themselves until they collapse. They simply keep moving every day in ways that feel natural and sustainable. Squats, floor-sitting, stretching, walking, balancing, breathing. Each piece adds to the whole. In America, we've built a culture of convenience that slowly robs us of these movements. But here's the beautiful part, it's never too late to bring them back. You don't need to move to Japan. You don't need to become a master of martial arts. You just need to reclaim the simple movements that your body was designed to do. The moment you start, you begin to reverse the clock. You unlock strength, mobility, and vitality you thought were gone forever. And that's why this chapter matters. It's not about copying Japan for the sake of it. It's about learning from a culture that has cracked the code on aging gracefully. They've shown us that longevity doesn't come from luck, genetics, or expensive treatments. It comes from moving your body in ways that support life every single day. If you're over 60, you can start right now. Stand taller, gently. Walk more. Balance with purpose. Breathe deeply. Do it daily and you'll notice something incredible. You're not just surviving old age, you're living it with strength, confidence, and joy. If the first chapter was about strength and energy, and the second about mobility and longevity, this final chapter is about something even more important: independence and mental sharpness. Because let's be honest, what good is living longer if you can't live on your own terms? Nobody wants to spend their golden years trapped in a chair, relying on others for basic needs. What people truly want is freedom. The freedom to walk around their home, to go shopping, to play with their grandkids, to enjoy life without fear or limitation. And this is where the Japanese daily movements shine brightest. They don't just keep the body healthy. They preserve independence and protect the mind. In a country where elders often live into their 90s with dignity, these simple movements are the unsung heroes. And if you're an American over 60, they might just be the missing piece in your life. Let's begin with balance again, but this time not just in the body, but in the brain. Balance training, like standing on one leg or practicing slow controlled steps, doesn't only prevent falls, it stimulates the brain. Every time you challenge your balance, your nervous system and brain cells fire to keep you upright. That stimulation is like exercise for your neurons. Studies have shown that balance training can actually improve cognitive function, reduce the risk of dementia, and keep reaction times sharp. In Japan, elders do this daily without calling it brain training. They practice movements that naturally challenge their coordination, and as a result, their minds stay young along with their bodies. Think about the opposite situation in America: long hours of sitting, little movement, and minimal balance work. That lifestyle doesn't just age the body, it dulls the brain. If you want to stay sharp mentally, balancing your body is one of the best things you can do. It's free, it's simple, and it works. Now consider the practice of mindful movement. In Japan, elders often engage in Tai Chi like flows, gentle martial arts, or even tea ceremony practices that require slow, intentional motions. These aren't just physical, they're meditative. They connect the body and mind in a way that lowers stress and clears mental fog. Americans, on the other hand, often move in bursts, rushing to the store, doing a hurried workout, then collapsing into a chair. The Japanese approach is steadier, calmer, and more deliberate, and that deliberation keeps the brain engaged, the heart rate controlled, and the mood stable. Stress is one of the biggest accelerators of aging, and mindful movement is one of the most effective antidotes. Even something as simple as walking slowly through your home while focusing on your breath, or moving your arms in wide arcs while inhaling deeply, can ground you. It's not about burning calories, it's about connecting to your body in a way that protects your mind. Another vital piece is flexibility, especially in the spine. In Japan, elders place high value on bending, twisting, and keeping their torso mobile. This is more than just stretching. It's about spinal health. A flexible spine equals a flexible life. When your spine is stiff, everything becomes harder: bending to tie your shoes, reaching into a cabinet, even turning to look behind you while driving. The Japanese elders who move daily maintain spinal mobility far longer, and as a result, they avoid many of the aches and pains that plague American seniors. The spine is like the central highway of your body. It carries nerves, supports posture, and dictates movement. By twisting gently, bending forward and back, and rolling the shoulders, Japanese elders keep that highway open and flowing. Americans often neglect this until back pain shows up, and then it feels too late. But the truth is, it's never too late to restore mobility. Start today. Twist gently side to side, bend slowly forward, arch your back carefully, and let your spine remember what it was made to do. Each little movement adds years of comfortable living. And here's something many people forget: hand and grip strength. In America, we measure aging by wrinkles or gray hair, but a better predictor of longevity is grip strength. Weak grip equals weak health. Strong grip equals independence. Why? Because grip strength is connected to overall muscle mass and function. If you can grip, you can carry groceries, open jars, and support yourself if you stumble. In Japan, elders preserve grip strength naturally through daily tasks: carrying shopping bags, sweeping, cooking, and gardening. They're constantly using their hands. In America, we outsource and automate so much that our hands rarely get a workout. If you want to copy one Japanese secret, start strengthening your grip. Squeeze a stress ball, or wring out a towel, carry light weights, or simply practice opening and closing your hands with force. Grip strength isn't just about the hands. It's about the life those hands allow you to hold on to. Let's also talk about coordination. Japanese elders often engage in group exercises or traditional dances, moving in sync with others. This not only boosts coordination, but also keeps the mind socially engaged. Coordinated movement requires focus, timing, and memory, which are powerful protectors against cognitive decline. Imagine moving your arms in one pattern while stepping in another. It feels tricky at first, but that challenge strengthens neural connections in the brain. In America, we often give up on coordination practice after childhood sports or dance. But in Japan, elders keep practicing it their whole lives, and the result is sharper minds and bodies. You don't need to join a dance group to practice this. You can start by patting your head with one hand while rubbing your stomach with the other, or stepping side to side while clapping in rhythm. It sounds funny, but it trains your brain and body to work together, and that keeps you young. Now think about independence: at its core, the ability to live without constant help. In Japan, Elders are fiercely independent, and the movements they practice make that possible. Squats allow them to sit and stand alone. Floor rising ensures they can recover if they fall. Walking keeps their circulation strong. Balance prevents accidents. Stretching and spinal mobility allow them to reach, bend, and move freely, and grip strength ensures they can handle daily tasks. Every single one of these movements is a deposit into the bank of independence. In America, we often overlook this until it's too late. We don't think about how sitting on a couch instead of the floor might affect our ability to rise later in life. We don't think about how skipping daily walks might weaken our heart and legs until climbing stairs feels impossible. But Japanese elders show us that independence is built long before you need it. Every daily movement is an investment in the future. And here's the most powerful truth: it's never too late. Even if you're already struggling, even if you're already stiff, weak, or out of shape, your body is waiting to respond. Muscles can strengthen at any age. Joints can regain mobility, balance can be retrained. The human body is remarkably forgiving and it rewards consistency. Start today, no matter where you are. Begin with 5 squats. Try sitting on the floor and rising once. Walk for 5 minutes. Stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. Stretch your spine gently. Squeeze a stress ball. Breathe deeply. Do 1 or 2 of these every day, and within weeks you'll notice changes. Within months, you'll feel stronger, steadier, and more capable. Within years, you'll thank yourself for not waiting. So let's tie it all together. Japanese elders don't live longer and healthier lives because of magic or luck. They live longer because they never stopped moving. They made daily movement a part of their culture, their habits, their way of life. And those movements, squatting, floor sitting, walking, balancing, stretching, breathing, gripping, are available to you too. If you're an American over 60, you need them more than ever. Our lifestyle has made us sedentary, stiff, and weak. But it doesn't have to end that way. You can reclaim strength. You can reclaim independence. You can reclaim your future. All it takes is choosing to move like the Japanese elders who inspire the world. And before we close, let me leave you with this: aging is not about decline. It's about adaptation. The Japanese elders adapted by keeping movement alive. You can too. It's never too late to start, and the sooner you begin, the more years you'll gain. Years not just to live, but to live well.